Right, so I want us to go ahead and then learn how to actually cover these patterns, or even get the patterns for the caps, okay, for the ready-made caps. I'm sure you remember how we did it, but then I still want to go over so you get something to hold on to when you forget. Okay, so we are going to use the sellotape for the first method. We are going to use the sellotape to cover this. Okay, this is your masking tape, paper sellotape. You cover it with it. All right, and then another method, sorry, you go ahead and also cover it with it this way. Now it shouldn't go this way, right? It should be able to, so you notch in here so it lies flat on it. Okay, yeah. Now you should be able to also go vertical like this. After doing the horizontal strips this way, you go ahead and then you do for vertical, like this. And then when you are doing it, let it overlap each other. Don't, yeah, just like I've done it, you see it's overlapping around the side. Yeah, exactly. So you go ahead and then you do it like that. The same thing for this side. Okay, then you cut. Now you can go ahead and then be notching in this side so it lies down flat for you, because it's curved, right? Yeah, you go ahead and then you do that nicely and then neatly. Okay, if your masking tape is not adhesive enough, if the glue here is not really sticking, you can put it in the sun, okay, for a while, and then you can come back and then use it. I'm sure when you do that, it will work after, right? So let's go ahead and then do the last one for this side. So you see, so just make sure it is overlapping. Okay. Okay, so when you are done, when you feel it's all okay, all right, you can go ahead and then trim the excesses you have around it, like so. All right, make sure, and then before you do this, make sure you still have your underwire inside, and then it goes inside all these areas out. Like I said earlier, make sure you have your underwire in it to keep the shape, okay, at this stage. Okay, so now once you have it like this, you can go ahead and then draw any style you want on it. Now before you draw the style, make sure you are using a pencil to draw the style you want first. Okay, you're using a pencil to draw the style you want first. Maybe you want something. Now another thing to also note is that you have to make sure that your line that you are drawing on it, at least one of the lines is passing through the middle part, okay, the mid section here, because this is the most curvy part of the cap, and so a line should at least pass through this side, to give you that curvy look. If you can't draw a style like this and then like this, leaving this side still curved like that, all right, after everything your cap will not cap. Okay, after joining it, your cap will not cap, right? So make sure that at least the styles you are drawing, one of the lines, or at least it will pass through the center side of your cap. Okay, so let's say I want something like this, okay, and then maybe something like this. Okay, so this is the style I want. I don't know if you can see. Let me go ahead and then use a marker to make it more visible. Okay, so I want something like this. I mean, aside this style I'm drawing, you can draw any style you want on it, but just take note of the instruction that your lines at least must pass through the center side to to get a seam there. Alright, so I have something simple like this. I can go ahead and label it 1, 2, 3, and then create something that will help you to join it accurately. Okay, right, so this will be your cap. So now you go ahead and then take your time while taking this off. Take your time very well. Don't rush this process. You know it can simply or easily deform. Okay, if you rush, you will lose the shape that you need. Okay, so this is my cap. Make sure it's still staying in shape. Okay, make sure it's still staying in shape. Right, so you go ahead and then you cut through this. Right, now you go ahead and then you cut through here also. Now let's go ahead and then place it on a paper and then see how we'll add the allowances. Okay, so this is our top part, the very first one. So before you go ahead and do this, make sure you hold it. You see you have some kind of bulb in the pattern. It's all right to have that, okay, but what you should know is that when you're putting the pattern down, put the center down first. Okay, with your thumb. Okay, put it down first like that, and then spread it out. You know, as you are sticking it, spread it out. You know, spread it out like that. You see, you do it for all the three. You spread it there. You put the center first, and then you spread the rest out. Spread it out, and then here also you put the center first, and then you spread it out. Spread it out. Spread it out. Spread it out. Spread. 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 Okay, and so this is how it's going to look like in the end. Okay, now let's move on to the second one that we have to do. This is the first part. I told you there are 3 ways I'll be showing you in this process, so this is your first one. Let's move on to the second one. Right, so moving on. Right, so moving on, this is our cap. We are going to do the next part of it, so I'll go ahead and then take off my underwire. Okay, fold this cap into 2. Okay, fold into 2 like this. Fold into 2, and then you fold your paper. Okay, the paper you are using, you fold it into 2, right? Then you put here. Make sure that this side here matches with the edge of the paper. Okay, matches with the edge of the paper. Right, make sure it's equal, and here is matching with the edge. Right, so you go ahead and then you draw it. Okay, now you see that this side is in line with the edge, right? So where it blends out is somewhere here. Okay, so you go ahead and then you draw it. Okay, okay, so you see that this side here, if you make sure the straight edge is here. Okay, if you don't do it well, you'll get it wrong. That's what I'm saying. Alright, so you see this is what we have. Alright, so we'll go ahead and then we can connect this point here, okay, to either go straight, okay, to go straight, or to go up like this, or to even come down more. However shape you want, you just go ahead and then you do exactly that, right? So for instance, let's cut this out. Let's cut this out. And then okay, so this is what I have. So once I join here, once here and here comes together, you will see that automatically your cap will be capping, right? Now if you want your style to go straight like this, like I did earlier, you can decide to measure down maybe 2 inches or 1.5 from the side below. Okay, you can do that, or you can just follow what I'm doing, just the style, and then proceed with that. So this here, now you always don't forget, you need to identify which side is up and which side is joining. Okay, so here and here is joining, here is up, right? Here is up, here is joining, right? So this is it, right? So you put here together, and by the time you are done, you should have so let's see how it's going to come out. So you're going to stick the tape measure to the side like this, to one side, and then this part that is joining, you are going to join it to make sure it's meeting. Make sure it's meeting. There you go. All right. Alright, so I'll go ahead and then do the same for this part. This is the bottom part. Now when you are done, okay, once you are done like this, you can go ahead and then draw whatever extension. Maybe if you want an extended design, for instance, you want something like, let's say something like this, okay, on top of your cap, you can do exactly this, or just leave it like this and then go with it. Okay, you can do an extension. Let's do something like that for the sake of those who might be interested in getting shapes for their caps, right? Let's do something simple like that. Looks like here has covered. I need to cut all this away. Alright, so this is what I have. So I'll go ahead and then join it to the upper part here. Okay, something like this. So I'm going to make sure that it is meeting. It's meeting with the edge. Okay, you see. Okay, so when you are done, this will be your cap. Okay, you see how nice this is. This will be your cap. It's just an extension that we've done here, so you can cut this with your laminated foam or straight to fabric. Okay, so once you set this on it like this, you see that your cap will have an extension. Okay, your cap will have an extension like this. Now you know that there's some kind of shortage here. That's because there's no allowance to it, and then this paper doesn't stretch. Okay, so once you add all your allowances, by the time you are done, you realize that everything is in shape. Okay, so basically this is how you go about it. Okay, now after getting this part, and if you wanted something bigger than what you have here right now, or after doing this, you can choose not to even use the cap. You can just cut these patterns with your laminated foam, and then cut the same patterns for mind you, whenever you are cutting the foam for the bra cap, you don't add any allowances to it. Okay, you don't add any allowances to it, but when you are cutting the cover and then the lining for the bra caps, you add allowances, 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch allowances all around it. Okay, right, so yeah, this is it. Let's move on to the last part of it. So number 3 is you divide your cap into 2 like this. Very simple and easy. So just take your cap, divide it into 2 like this, and then you just go ahead, something like this, and tada, you are done. Okay, so you go ahead and then you add allowances to this side. You're only going to join this curve you have here, so you add allowance, 1/2 inch allowance here, and then maybe another 1/2 inch allowance all around it. Okay, before you go ahead and then you cut it out. Mind you, I'm cutting this without allowance, so by the time we are done, it should slightly be smaller than the original cap we have here. Okay, so when I'm done, I'll just sew these 2 parts here together, so your cap will just have one seam at the back of it. Okay, and this is a typical example of something like that we have at the shop. You can see that the joint we have here is in the middle like this. Okay, let's go in the inside. Let me show you what we have here. So you can see that the inside is only this. Okay, you only have this one seam, and that is how we cut it for this one. Okay, so that's it, only one seam in the middle, just that. All right, so basically that will be all for today on the caps, how to get the cover for your bra caps.